Let's rank the Saw movies today with Saw X, my favorite franchise of all time.
If it's Halloween, it must be Saw. I am still among you.
Hey guys, this is Josh with Let's Play a Game. Today I'm going to be ranking all 10 Saw movies, including Saw X. I will not include spoilers for Saw X, but I will be spoiling the other movies in this franchise. This is a pretty old franchise, so expect spoilers for all the movies besides the new one. I won't spoil that movie. Now, this is my favorite series of all time, so this is kind of a really hard ranking for me. A lot of these movies can interchange, especially the top half, my favorite half. Depends on the day, you can ask me which movie's my favorite, and it can change. So just know I love most of these movies. There's only a couple that I am not the biggest fan of, but like most of them I love. So I'm gonna go worst to best on this. So my number 10, this is my least favorite Saw movie, but I still get some enjoyment out of this. It is Spiral from the Book of Saw. This is the spin-off of the series. Now, I like that they did try to do a spin-off to Saw, and they try to do a little something different. This movie is my least favorite, probably because Jigsaw is not featured in this movie really at all, just like a picture of Jigsaw. And I think Jigsaw, Tobin Bell himself, is a big part of why this series works really well for me. I love Jigsaw, I love Tobin Bell, and it really, to me, feels like something is missing in Spiral. Even like the voice of the killer in this movie, to me it sounds like Kermit the Frog. It's not Tobin Bell's voice, it just doesn't work. And this does kind of make you like follow the police a lot more than like the traps and that side, the games of things. And the games almost feel like afterthoughts. Chris Rock is the star of this movie. I think he does all right, but they reveal a new killer in this movie, and just the guy who's supposed to be like the copycat of Jigsaw is just, that guy just did not work for me. And I thought like the reveal of the killer and everything was so obvious. Like I thought it was this guy like almost the whole movie, and ended up being this guy. But overall, I thought this was an okay spinoff. Since it's my favorite series, it was kind of cool just to go kind of spin off from the main storyline of the series and kind of give us a copycat killer. But this movie is really what that feels like to me. It feels like a copycat movie that just isn't as good as any of the other Saw films. I can see why some people can love Spiral, but I enjoy it, but it's my least favorite of the series, but my favorite series. So alright, now number 9, I'm going to give it to Saw 3D. Now, before this movie came out, I was like beyond excited because this was marketed as the last film of the series, and for a long time this was the last film. I think this movie is a really mixed bag movie for me. There's some stuff I absolutely love in this movie, but there's other stuff that I just kind of like don't care that much about. I do like the concept of Bobby Dagan of being like a fake Jigsaw survivor, then he gets actually thrust into the actual Jigsaw traps. I thought that was kind of a cool storyline, and a couple of the traps I really like in here, like the fish hook trap where Bobby has to pull the hook out of the girl's throat and she's got to be silent or the things will go into her neck. I thought that was a really cool, kind of intense trap. And like I also love how this starts right off from the end of the first movie, and you see Dr. Gordon crawling down the halls out of the bathroom, and I love that. I love that beginning of the movie. It really it still gets me pumped up every time I do watch this movie. The beginning of it really pumps me up. And like the concept of like survivors, and some survivors end up believing in Jigsaw's philosophy and some are totally against it. I do kind of like that there's like this survivor group and everything. But the main reason why I love this movie is Hoffman versus Jill. That's like the whole reason why I wanted to see this after Saw 6. I love Hoffman in this movie. He kind of becomes like a straight up slasher villain. He becomes Jason basically. But he wants to get revenge on Jill for what she did to him at the end of 6. So I really enjoy kind of that part of the storyline besides like the main main cop actor is terrible. The new cop they bring in is kind of terrible. But like just Hoffman versus Jill, and then like Hoffman kind of sneaks into the police station, and then he kind of becomes like the Terminator in that entire scene. I actually love all that stuff, and it does, all that stuff kind of really feels like the final chapter. But I think introducing Bobby and all those, that whole side of things kind of just feels like a tack on. They didn't really need that. They could have made this movie so simple. Jill versus Hoffman, made it very suspenseful, very intense, and I probably would have thought this was a perfect final chapter. Maybe answers some questions to the entire series. They couldn't answer everything in one movie, but I thought this could have been an amazing movie, but it kind of just falls flat in a lot of ways. But there's some stuff, like I said, I love. Even the Dr. Gordon thing. The first time I saw the reveal, when they revealed Dr. Gordon, I was like, heck yeah, I was very, very happy about it. I thought it was a great ending where Dr. Gordon chains up Hoffman in the bathroom and Hoffman's yelling no, and Dr. Gordon says game over and the door slams. At the time, I thought that was an awesome ending to the series.
Game over.
But the more I think about it, the less I like Gordon as an apprentice. So, and for me, Gordon kind of doesn't carry on John's legacy. I feel like the last thing he ever did for Jigsaw was slam the door on Hoffman. In my eyes, Gordon is not like a true apprentice or anything. He just kind of helped out with surgical stuff and all that. That's how I see Gordon in this series. Just kind of there helping out every once in a while, and then like doing the last thing for John with Hoffman. So for me, Saw 3D is a very mixed bag. Some stuff I love, some stuff I really don't like that much. So overall, I still enjoy this movie. It's just definitely one of the weakest movies in the entire series. But yeah, that was my number 9, Saw 3D. Now number 8, I'm going to give it to Saw 5. Now when Saw 5 first came out, I actually really didn't like this movie at all. I was so disappointed because 4 is one of my favorites. I was disappointed by kind of half this movie again, like Saw 3D, like the Strom versus Hoffman stuff. I really like where Strom's trying to actually figure out that Hoffman is a Jigsaw apprentice. I like that side of this movie, but this is one of the movies in the series where I think like the main game is not really suspenseful at all, and these 5 people had to work together to get through all the games, and it's kind of obvious that they had to work together to get through this, and I feel like that side of the movie is not really connected to the Strom Hoffman side and Erickson side of things, and feels kind of pointless, the games in this one. There's a couple games I like. I do kind of like the first game where they're getting pulled and their head will get chopped off. I do like that game, and the last game I like where they got to put their hands in the saws and they got to give blood to get out of there. I do like that game, but like overall, the people in the traps in this one, don't really care about them at all, and I think it's just not that suspenseful. But like I said, the Hoffman versus Jigsaw, or not Hoffman, Hoffman versus Strom, that side of the movie I really enjoy. I really enjoy that. I actually really enjoy the flashback showing how Hoffman became an apprentice with Jigsaw. Actually, one of my favorite scenes in the whole series is when just kind of like the conversation between Hoffman and Jigsaw. It's like a 10-minute part of the movie, but I love that whole entire conversation between John and Hoffman. I love that.
Killing is distasteful.
And I actually kind of love the ending too. It kind of sucks that Strom died at the end of 5. I would have loved to see Strom another movie, but like actually seeing the walls collapse on Strom and like Hoffman is gonna leave his legacy and give it to Strom. There's some stuff I really like in this. It's a little slow, but I like some of the flashbacks, like I said, showing how Hoffman and Jigsaw got together, and actually Hoffman helped Jigsaw even before Saw 1. So yeah, some stuff I really like. I have actually learned to appreciate this movie quite a bit more than the first time I ever watched it. So yeah, overall I do like Saw 5. It's just not like a favorite of mine in this series. But yeah, I still enjoy Saw 5. Now, number 7, I'm going to give it actually to Jigsaw. I actually kind of really enjoyed Jigsaw. There's a couple things towards the end of the movie that kind of bring it down, but like the actual main trap going on in the barn and everything, I really enjoy that. I actually kind of enjoy the more slick look of Jigsaw. It came out like 7 years after 3D, and it kind of has a more slick look, and I just kind of enjoyed that they kind of changed up the look this time around. The whole movie where like the games we're watching, is that actually happened 10 years ago and John's not alive and all that. I thought that was kind of obvious, but kind of well done too. I actually liked that twist. Thought it was pretty cool actually. So I really enjoy, like, especially when John shows up, like this movie instantly gets better. But I actually really enjoy Jigsaw, and if they continue this series, maybe after Saw X, I would be fine if they continued off Jigsaw, but if they want to do something different, like another midquel somewhere like Saw X, maybe do that. But yeah, overall, I still enjoy Jigsaw, but the whole Logan being another apprentice before even hopping in Amanda and Gordon kind of ruins the movie a little bit. If they could have somehow had this movie without maybe revealing an apprentice or something, a new apprentice, it might have worked better. That stuff kind of pees me off because I just don't see Logan as being around like in the first 7 movies. So that kind of messes things up even more so than some of the other flashbacks and stuff in the other movies. So yeah, I do enjoy Jigsaw quite a bit. Just a couple things I wasn't a fan of, like the ending. But yeah, Jigsaw was my number 7. Now, guys, remember, my number 6, don't get mad, okay? I love this series. I love this whole series as a franchise. Don't get mad when I say I got number 6, the original Saw.
It's a bunch of bullshit.
I really, really like the original Saw. I have watched it so many times, and I like the concept of the original Saw. It's just not my favorite of the series. I still really like this movie. I like just the two, Dr. Gordon and Adam, waking up in a bathroom, and most of this movie is set in this like nasty prehistoric bathroom. And it's like this movie is like a mystery and everything, and there's hardly like not that much gore, and the traps aren't really like the main thing yet in this series. But like this movie just slowly unfolds, and you're finding out about Jigsaw for the first time. You're learning that he wants to give people a new appreciation on life. He puts them in a trap, but he kind of gives these people a chance. And of course, we got introduced to the iconic reverse bear trap and Amanda, and the look and aesthetic really carried on throughout a lot of the series. Of course, the ending is like one of the best endings in horror history. When John gets up off the bathroom floor, I get chills like every single time I've seen this movie. It is insane. I've seen this movie so many times, and I still get chills when the Hello Zepp song starts playing and John gets up and you see the reaction of Adam, and John shuts the door and you hear game over for the first time. Really set up for a awesome series. Iconic ending. Really good movie, just not my favorite of the series, but I still really enjoy this, and James Wan and Lee Wanell jump-started my favorite franchise of all time. So yes, Saw 1 is very, very good. It's just there's other movies I actually like more than Saw 1, believe it or not. A lot of people put the original on top, but not me. I just love this whole series as like a whole. So Saw is great. It's just not my top Saw movie. Coming in at number 5, I am very, very shocked how high this movie is already, and it might go up after I watch it more times. I've only seen it once. It's the new Saw movie, Saw X. I really, really enjoyed this movie. I loved that this movie kind of started off a little slower paced than the other Saw movies. It didn't jump right into the game, and if this movie is set in between Saw 1 and 2. So we got Jigsaw and Amanda back in this movie. And I absolutely love their relationship. And that's one of the reasons why I love Saw 3 so much. I just love the Amanda character and I love Jigsaw so much. And they made Jigsaw the star of the movie. The 10th movie, and Jigsaw really feels like the star finally. And I love the concept of this movie of like these doctors tricking John into thinking they removed his tumor, but they did not remove his tumor. And I thought this movie was paced really well. I liked this kind of a little more simplistic traps in this movie. They kind of went back to the first couple movies, and that was the point. The traps didn't need to be huge and convoluted like they were later on. Yeah, overall, I really enjoyed this. I actually cared about Jigsaw and Amanda like I already did because of Saw 3, but I really cared about Jigsaw in this movie, and I was actually rooting for him to put those people in the traps that did him wrong, and I wanted him to win this time around. And yeah, I thought this was so good. Like, this shouldn't have been as good as it was for being like a midquel going in between, sandwich in between Saw 1 and 2. They set this in Mexico City. Tobin Bell is Jigsaw. Nobody will ever play Jigsaw like Tobin Bell, and I just love that they got him and Amanda Shawnee Smith to do this movie. I really enjoyed this movie.
It's a reawakening.
The twist, you could say, I didn't think it was a mind-blowing twist in this movie. I enjoyed the twist, but I wasn't like shocked or mind-blown like maybe some of the earlier Saw movies. But it's kind of hard to do, and so many twists. We're on the 10th movie. It's not really, I don't think, going to blow anybody away, the twist in this. But I still really enjoyed the twist. Really love Saw X. I recommend, if you're a Saw fan at all, go to the theater and see this. This is worth watching in the theater. It was such a well done Saw movie. Absolutely loved Saw X. Now, my top 4 Saw movies is kind of some of my favorite movies of all time. I love the top 4 Saw movies. They're like basically perfect Saw movies in my eyes. So number 4, I'm going to give it to Saw 6. Absolutely love Saw 6. I love that John goes after an insurance company in this movie. I think this is a kind of a perfectly paced Saw movie, one of the best paced Saw movies. I actually kind of like William Easton a little bit, even though he's a bad dude, but I actually like the actor who plays William. So I like a lot of the traps in this. I like the flashbacks between John and William Easton, and even seeing Amanda a little bit, like actually seeing Amanda and Hoffman interact in this movie. And it's one of my favorite games of the series, one of the more intense games of William going through these series of traps. So that's another reason why I love this movie so much. Now, I absolutely, like, might be, if I think about it, this is definitely one of my favorite endings of the entire series, where William Easton, he's trying to get to his family. You think he's trying to get to his family the whole movie, and this mom and daughter, you think it's his family, but you find out no, it's not his family. It's one of the guys he denied coverage to. It's his family, and that guy died, and his sister is in the other cage. And Jigsaw gives the mom and the son a choice to kill or let William Easton live. Absolutely love that ending. I thought it was a great twist that I actually didn't see coming the first time around when I watched this movie. And then when Jill leaves Mark Hoffman in the reverse bear trap. When she put Hoffman in that trap, I was like, my mind was getting blown. I'm like, they're killing Hoffman? Can they do more Saw movies? Now, I think if they actually had the balls to kill Hoffman in this movie, like if Hoffman was looking up at the camera or whatever, and the reverse bear trap went off, he killed Hoffman, and the movie ended right there, I actually think this would be a perfect series. I think the first 6 movies would have been a perfect series. They wouldn't even need to make any more. No Saw 7, no nothing. I think it would have been perfect. And I think that's what they actually should have done. They would have ended on one of the best movies in the whole series. But yeah, I love Saw 6 so much. Easily one of my favorites of the franchise. Now you're going to see now that I actually really like the Darren Lynn Bousman movies. I think that's the height of the series. For the most part, I think these three movies were like the best Saw had to offer and kind of the height of the series. So my third favorite Saw movie is Saw 3. Now, I absolutely love this movie. I like that it starts right off from 2, and we got Eric Matthews in the bathroom, and the way he gets out of the bathroom is so gnarly, where he breaks his ankle. And then we kind of we find out Jigsaw's still alive. Amanda is with him, and Jigsaw's like literally on his deathbed, and he's kind of doing his last game ever, kind of, as he's alive, where he puts Dr. Lynn and Jeff in these traps, and you follow Jeff around. And I really like the story of her grieving father. He's got to forgive people who hit and had anything to do with killing his son, and not talking about his son getting killed. So I love that concept. Jeff isn't one of my favorite people in the series, but I love the concept and some of the really cool traps in Saw 3, like the pig vat trap. Very nasty, very disgusting, but very good trap. And then, of course, the rack, Jigsaw's personal favorite, where the bones are twisting. Very gnarly, very nasty, but very awesome. I even love Carrie's trap, the angel trap, where her ribs get ripped apart. I actually really liked Carrie. That's one thing I wish she would have made it maybe through Saw 3 and maybe would have been in Saw 4, because I thought Carrie was a great character, and they kind of killed her off pretty quick in Saw 3. That's kind of a minor complaint. I accepted that by now, but yeah, it would have been cool if Carrie was around even more in this series. But the relationship between Amanda and Jigsaw is why I love this movie so much. I actually kind of care about the villains. Yes, they're crazy, and they kind of do this they kind of carry this over to Saw X too. That's why I like Saw X so much too, because Jigsaw and Amanda, I love them together. I mean, I wish Amanda at least would have lived past Saw 3, because I would have definitely followed her. Even though I end up loving Hoffman, I really would like to see like an alternate universe where Amanda did live Saw 3 and then she carried on the series. But killing off her and Jigsaw at the end of this movie was really kind of ballsy, and kind of you could say they kind of messed up, and they had to like do a lot of flashbacks to bring Jigsaw back in the later movies and all that. I think it was kind of a ballsy choice to do that. By the time Saw 4 was coming out, I'm like, who the heck is taking over? What's going on? Jigsaw's dead, Amanda's dead. And I also love the flashbacks in this movie where Jigsaw, when he takes Amanda in, and you also see like Amanda and Jigsaw setting up the bathroom trap for the first movie. I absolutely love those flashbacks. And Amanda's just, you could tell she's going out insane. Like, she starts to not believe that Jigsaw's methods actually work and all that. So yeah, and I love the ending of this movie too, where Jigsaw's dead, Jeff killed him, and then like Jeff inadvertently kills his own wife with the bullet collar, which I love, the shotgun collar. And then Jigsaw says he has Jeff's daughter hidden away. And it kind of ends on a cliffhanger, but it also ends like where Saw 3 could have been a perfect ending to the series, I think. I think this series would be even more highly regarded if it was just the 3 movies. But like I said, I even love the later movies. All right, number 2. I always go back and forth between my top 2 because I just love them for different reasons, but I love both the movies. My second favorite Saw movie ever is Saw 4. Now, a lot of people crap on Saw 4, but I love Saw 4. And I just love how crazy chaotic paced it is. It's jumping all over the place. There's like a kind of a mystery of like Jigsaw's dead. They show his autopsy at the beginning of the movie. So who's carrying on these games? Is there another apprentice? Did Amanda survive? Like, you're asking so many questions during this movie, like when you first watch this movie. I actually end up liking Hoffman, especially in 6. That's my favorite version of Hoffman. But I like that you got to try to guess another Jigsaw killer. It really worked, I think, in Saw 4. It started to be overdone in 7. Jigsaw always added new apprentices, but I think Hoffman should have been the last added apprentice, like Jigsaw and, or Amanda and Hoffman. And you get Eric Matthews back in this movie. I absolutely love that they brought him back, even though he was kind of just on a block of ice for the whole movie. And then Rig, we actually follow Rig, who was like a SWAT commander in 2 and 3, and he's kind of like a more of the main player in this movie. And I love that. I actually really like Rig. He's just trying to help people, but he gets so obsessed that he's like not paying attention to his wife, and he's like not really paying attention to his other cases. He's just obsessed with finding Eric. Sounds bad that Jigsaw's punishing him for wanting to save people, but he's neglecting very important people in his life because he wants to save Eric Matthews so bad, Detective Carey so bad. And I love a lot of the traps in this. I like the mausoleum trap where one guy's stitched up in the eyes, one guy's mouth is sewn shut, and they got to fight. And I like all the flashbacks with Jigsaw. I feel like you get a lot more really good backstory with Jill losing the baby, and then Jigsaw just really decides to go off and make people appreciate their own lives. And seeing like Cecil, the first trap he ever did, was really cool with him pushing his face into the knives. And then the twist ending in this, I actually love so much. A lot of people crap on this. Now the twist in this, I think, makes the movie so much better. It happening at the same time as Saw 3 and 4. They were happening simultaneously. And a lot of people crap on this twist, but I love it because they actually have Easter eggs thrown in there that actually make it make sense when you rewatch it. So it's confusing maybe the first time you see it, but after you watch it one or two more times, I think Saw 4 is brilliant. And plus we get introduced to Strom in this movie. I don't know. I think this movie is criminally underrated. I love Saw 4 so much. And then the reveal of Hoffman. He wasn't in the movie a lot, but they actually had Hoffman in one scene in Saw 3, so they kind of planted a seed for Hoffman. And then the reveal of Hoffman and the reveal of it all happening at the same time as 3, where Strom goes into the room where Jigsaw's body is. Amanda's dead, Jeff's in there, he shoots Jeff, and Lynn is in there. And I like how it ends, where it goes back to the autopsy was actually at the end of the movie, not the beginning. And the way Jigsaw's saying in the tape to Hoffman that he is still among him, and just because he is dead, his work will continue. The games have just begun.
The games have just begun.
Absolutely love that ending. I never get tired of Saw 4. I could pop it on, and probably because it's so fast paced too that it has a lot of rewatchability. So yeah, Saw 4 is my second favorite Saw movie. Now my all-time favorite Saw movie, but like I said, a lot of these interchange, but today my favorite Saw movie is Saw 2. This movie really made me a fan of the Saw franchise. Like, I liked Saw 1, but this one really made me a fan of Jigsaw because he has a bigger role. Tobin Bell is actually in this movie a lot. The introduction of Eric Matthews, actually really like his character, and him capturing Daniel, putting him in this nerve gas house. I really like the whole like nerve gas house concept, and all like the traps, other traps are in the house. And I love that Amanda came back in this movie, and even though she survived the reverse bear trap in the first movie, they brought her back. And I absolutely love I think there's like 2 twists in this movie. The twist of everything in the nerve gas house happened before even the cops showed up to get Jigsaw. All that happened already. And like, I even like the conversations between Eric Matthews and Jigsaw throughout the movie, and the way Jigsaw says you will find your son in a safe and secure place, and his son is literally in a safe. 10 feet away from them. Absolutely love that. And then the reveal of Amanda, I think it really worked the first time having an accomplice. It kind of is getting old by now in the series, but like when Amanda is first revealed, it actually makes sense with the movie, and I thought it was a great twist, and this entire ending like blows me away. I absolutely love this ending. And then Amanda traps Eric in the bathroom and she says game over, and then the camera pans out on Jigsaw. He was all beaten up and he just smiles at the end. I think Saw 2 is like, for me, a perfect sequel, a perfect Saw movie. You have a lot of Jigsaw. You get Amanda introduced as an apprentice, and Amanda's one of my favorite characters in the series. So like everything for me, I love in Saw 2. And I like slasher movies too. And kind of the Nerve Gas House kind of feels like a slasher movie where they're just kind of killing off people as they go in the movie. But for me, this is a perfect Saw film. And I don't think they'll quite match this movie. The surprises and everything in this movie. Love Saw 2 to death. Now guys, you guys go down in the comment section below and give me your ranking of the entire Saw series. Do you love this series like I do? And be looking out for, I'm doing a Saw collection, my Saw DVD, Blu-ray, 4K collection. I think that'll be my next video after this one gets uploaded. So be looking out for that. But yeah, I will be seeing you guys really soon. And I will see you guys next time. Bye guys.